Again, the bar's low. The bar is subterranean. The bar is in the core. The bar is in magma, right? Magma bar.
It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margie McGee.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, where we meet at the intersection of reality TV and therapy. I am Ramona Ramirez Higgins. Margie has taken the month of April off, so I will be doing another solo house here. It is... okay, so if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you know that Margie hates her birthday. And I'm struggling with that right now, TBH, because I love her so much. Today is the day that she was born. And because I love her, I want to say what I'm not supposed to say, but I also want to respect her boundaries. So how do I do this? JK. I'm just going to say, Margie, I miss you. I love you. And I'm really glad you were born. That's as close to the thing I'm not supposed to say that I'm going to say. So if you're out there listening and you want to also acknowledge you're glad that she was born, that's what we're going to do. Okay? How are you guys? I'm not going to lie. TBH, to be honest, I hate Dorinda. I don't care for Dorinda Medley at all. I understand the word hate is controversial. I'm never one to mince words. I'm also not a shrinking violet kind of person. You know where I stand. I don't care for Dorinda at all. Hate. Okay, here's what I will say. Here's my loophole to use the word hate. I hate some of the things that she says. I also acknowledge the fact that she came up with some great Bravo clips, classic clips. So I am, to quote Dorinda Medley, not well, bitch. I'm just sharing that because we try to be honest about our mental health here on this podcast. Not try, like that's our entire endeavor. That's the whole reason that we do this. And you've heard Margie and I talk about, only being as sick as your secrets, and what you share loses the power to terrorize you. I believe that was another beautiful quote from Mr. Rogers. Don't quote me on that being his quote. Don't quote me on the quote, because it may not have been him that said it, but I think it was. My point is that I'm really working through a lot of stuff that I swear on everything, I thought that I had moved past this point, but I am consistently reminded by my therapists, with an S, plural, thank God, that one of my therapists says, one of the biggest things that a therapist does is just be there to remind their clients, just be reminding them all the time of things. And one of those things that I'm being reminded of right now is that processing trauma, processing grief, it's not a linear, you start at point A, you go to point Z, it's done, you stick it in the file cabinet and you finish it. You can mark it as complete. It's not like that. And so I'm getting to these like layers underneath that I had definitely been resisting getting to, or thought that I had already done it. And I just find myself in a lot of I'm not going to lie, I'm in pain. Something was shaken up a few months ago, and I have been struggling ever since to kind of figure out how to live with it as it wants my attention, this thing that was shaken. And it wants my attention, and it will not leave. It cannot be ignored. I'm not going to be ignored, Dan. That great line from Fatal Attraction. I've just been having a really hard time. And there's days that are easier and days that are not as easy. And it's just been kind of like that ever since we got back from our spring break trip. So I'm trying to, instead of fight it or resist it, accept it, get curious about it. The support system I have that are always inviting me to ask them for help, I'm actually taking them up on it right now, which is new for me. It's excruciating. I am the first person to like take someone and shake them by the shoulders and be like, oh my God, please, please call me. If you ever need anything, I will be here to support you. But when it comes to asking that for myself, my coping skills, I'm going to catch myself. My coping skills will tell me, no, don't do that. Or I have this other part of myself that says, how the fuck can you still be having stuff going on when you have been working on stuff for the majority of your life? And then I get into like shame, another coping skill, self-hatred, another coping skill. And none of my stuff is working right now. Scrolling on my phone, not working. Like a piece of chocolate cake with thick frosting, not working. Just my usual things are not working. These feelings are demanding my attention. They're demanding my care. So I'm being asked to show up and listen to them. And what that's looking like right now is me being up at 3:00 in the morning last night, just like crying over some grief. And, that's it right now. That's it. And I feel so unqualified to talk about stuff. Like I even told my therapist this morning, my second therapy appointment of the week this morning, like, what am I fucking doing talking about my mental health on this podcast when I feel like I have such a thin grasp on it? But all I can do is show up and be honest about where I'm at. I'm having a hard time, and it's been a few months of a hard time. But what are you going to do? What are my options? Yeah. So I am, well, I'll get to that when we talk about my antidepressant, but I am extremely happy to be back. And I am very sad that I was not able to find the time to do it last week. We were worn ragged by the time we came back from spring break. We had a lovely time. Amazing time in Seattle. Couldn't have asked for better weather in the Pacific Northwest. Honestly, if people went to the Pacific Northwest last week for the very first time, I guarantee you they are trying to find places to live and trying to find jobs there. And they think that they are going to be moving to this beautiful sunny place. I'm here to tell you, as someone that lived in Seattle for 7 years, the weather that we had last week, yes, it is definitely there during the summer. And we had a fluke week in the springtime where it's kind of like, am I in nirvana? Am I in heaven? Like, is this where heaven is on earth, Listen, the rain's fantastic. It's the reason why the Pacific Northwest looks the way it does. My point is that we were like, we did everything. I'll get there when I talk about antidepressant. But my point is that, like, I was so tired by the time we got back. I was emotionally exhausted, physically exhausted, and I couldn't do it. So I'm so sorry I wasn't able to talk about the episode where we saw Sabrina and Ben for the first time, and Bailey and Carl talking about their date, and Lindsay's housewarming party, etc. I think it was called Something in Rosé, whatever. But this episode more than made up for it. IMHO. Did it not? So let's talk about it. This is Summer House Season 10, Episode 11. The episode is called Viva Los Hamptons. Now, if I was to write the title of this episode, I would have titled it, Women, Be Careful of Your Hair, or West is going to molest the shit out of it. Did anyone else see how much work West was doing with his castmates' hair? Bailey's, Amanda's, Sabrina's, who he barely met. His hand will automatically gravitate towards your locks if you are within 6 inches of him. It was staggering to me. I was like, wow, no boundaries. I also was thinking when I was watching this, like, I know last time I recorded, I talked about how do we watch this show now? And I just realized, like, there's no way to watch this show anymore without the filter of what happened, without the lens of what of Amanda and Wes deciding to hook up. It's unbelievable. Since we last recorded, Amanda came out with that weird, anemic, flimsy statement on her socials saying that she was going to be returning to life as normal. But so if you see her out, just know that the recent events are still weighing heavy on her mind, even if she's out seemingly looking like she's having a good time. So she posted that. And then 3 hours later, she and West were photographed at dinner with a friend. I know I'm 110% projecting when I look at the photos of them together, but I don't know about you guys. I have zero .0 faith that these two are endgame or even quasi-endgame or like 2 months from now game. I feel like I get this sense from West, and again, projecting like it is my job, projecting like I have been trained at the projection college of projecting for my entire life to make this claim, but I can't imagine someone like West is able to kind of mentally or like want to be in this kind of a mess. And it just seems like the energy coming from him is like, I don't want to fucking be here. I don't want to be doing this. But I could be wrong. Again, projecting. I don't know what to say. It's gross. I love KJ. KJ's socials are everything. He has done nothing but show his unyielding and deep support for Ciara and his utter disappointment and what's the word I'm looking for? He's not letting West have any peace about his actions. He's really going for it. And I love that. I love KJ, you guys. I love KJ. I make it like a habit to not follow any Bravo people on my socials, but I might have to make an exception for him and maybe for Ciara. Okay, maybe for Mia too. Mia was on Watch What Happens Live with Joel Kim Booster on Tuesday night after this episode aired, and it was a fantastic episode. It was fantastic. Mia seems like what you see is what you get, and I love that. She feels so safe, you know? And it's wild. It's fucking wild watching this show after this information has come out. It's wild, is it not? Everything. This episode in particular. So that's all I can do is watch this episode through the lens of Wes and Amanda are now dating. So let's talk about it. We'll recap last week's episode of Schmidgen. Carl had talked to Kyle about how he was hurt when Kyle did not acknowledge the anniversary of the passing of Curtis, who is Carl's brother who passed away. Again, he passed away on the street, did he not? From his drug addiction. And that is what helped Carl hit his rock bottom. Oh, God, I just love Carl. I love Carl so much. Kyle, the best he could do when one of his best friend said, hey, man, it fucking hurt me that you did not acknowledge the anniversary of the passing of my brother. The best Kyle could do was say there was no excuse. He spaced. He gave a kind of his preoccupied excuse. And he had the audacity to tell Carl, you know what? Well, you never invite me anywhere. What? And Carl had a hard time talking to Kyle about it. Told him that he felt like their friendship was feeling disconnected right now. We also, in that episode, Carl and Bailey had kind of flirted while he coached her at golf. Ben, at the end of that episode, confronted Amanda about the conversation Amanda had with Sabrina at Lindsay's housewarming party, where Amanda supposedly joked, in quotations, to Sabrina that everyone thinks that Ben's in love with Amanda. And Ben asked her, why did you say that? He shared with Amanda that Sabrina felt like it was a dig. And so this week's episode, Viva Los Hamptons, picks up at golf. We resume with Ben confronting Amanda about how she upset Sabrina at the housewarming party because Amanda told Sabrina the whole house was joking about how much Ben was in love with her. The best Amanda could do was acknowledge she could have chosen her words better. She insisted she was joking. She said everyone was drinking and what she said wasn't intentional. And Ben shares, it's fucked up what you said because basically I'm falling in love with Sabrina and I'm choosing to go all in. And in her confessional, this is so gross. It's so fucking gross to watch how Amanda moves. It really is. I'm not going to lie. In her confessional, Amanda said she's confused because Ben's been acting single all summer and she is super indignant about how Ben was offended. And she said, Ben wanted to fuck me in Italy. There was a group chat about it where his friends had to remind him, dude, she's married. And then she said, did I play into it? Maybe, because who doesn't like a little attention? But don't turn this around on me. Holy shit. Did I play into it? Maybe, because who doesn't like a little attention? It just all hits real different now, doesn't it? But Amanda basically tells Ben she's going to apologize to Sabrina. So the crew returns home from golf, and Amanda is now extremely shaken up. and she goes to Ciara's room in a panic because of her confrontation with Ben about Sabrina. And she's spinning because, and I quote, "The conversation made me feel icky." She says that she doesn't remember saying the house thinks that he's in love with me, and I was all sure Jan.gif. I don't buy it, man. I don't buy it. Amanda, her face, she looks traumatized. She looks like she is really in a spiral. Her eyes are wide. A lot of people online are talking about the eyes on this season a lot, especially Amanda's and especially West's and Kyle's. That's all I'm going to say. You can fill in those blanks. You can read between the lines. You can do with that what you will. I don't know. As someone that has anxiety, as someone that has overused the coping skill of self-hatred and a shame spiral, I know what it looks like. And the shame spiral in me can absolutely spot the shame spiral in Amanda. That's what I'm going for. I don't know if she's on any kind of substance that would make her eyes wide. I think it's pure fear and self-hatred that she has been caught fucking up big time. Kyle is not going to go out that night, shockingly. And in his confessional, he says he's optimistic because Amanda agreed to go to couples counseling. We see the flashback of her agreeing to go to couples counseling. He says, forget July, forget my birthday. I just want to focus on us in the last 2 weekends of summer. Good luck. Jesse has borrowed a pair of West's pants, and he is playing West dress up for sure in this outfit. He and West join Ciara, Mia, and Amanda in Ciara's room. And Jesse has his hands in West's pocket and brings them out, accidentally drops a condom that was in the pants pocket. And I was just watching Amanda's face the whole time. Most of the cast leaves for Murph's, except for Bailey, Ben, and Amanda, and Kyle, who has the audacity to tell the rest of the cast who's going out, I don't want any of you idiots waking me up when you come home. Oh, my God. Mr. turns on the ones and twos. When he gets home, wasted at 3 o'clock in the morning, he's telling everybody else, don't wake me up. The full fucking hip of it all, y'all. Jesus. Ben is talking to Sabrina on the phone about the pillow situation in his room, which, as someone who does stress out before I go to a place where I'm going to be sleeping about will I be able to sleep, because I have a history of being a very terrible sleeper who needs a lot of different factors to be in place simultaneously in order for me to have a good night's sleep. The things I travel with, the things I need in order to sleep, I don't know. As a neurodivergent person, fuck it. I don't care. I have an entire packing cube dedicated to all the crap I take with me that I need to sleep, including, well, it doesn't matter. You guys don't need to know what I fucking take with me. It doesn't, if you're interested, you can send me a message and I'll tell you. But like, I don't know. So maybe Sabrina was like, tell me about this situation with pillows, because I am also a fitful sleeper and I don't know what I'm going to do if it's not good. I don't know. He tells her that it's the first time he's not going out with the rest of the crew. And in his confessional, he says he hasn't been in a relationship in 6 years, but he's ready to be all in and wants to be on his A game for Sabrina's arrival tomorrow, so he's not going to go out. I've decided after this episode, I don't like Ben. I don't think I like Ben. I'm not saying I don't have empathy for him. I'm not saying that I don't understand from the little bits of his history that he shared with us why he is the way he is, how Ben became Ben. But I'm not, he's not for me. He's not for me. And I don't know. I don't know this Sabrina woman either, but like, I hope she's okay. I don't know. Maybe he's fine. Maybe he's a great guy. I don't know. After everyone gets home, Ciara and West are in the kitchen with Jesse, who in his confessional tells us he's seen this movie before, and West isn't ready for a relationship. He's sure he's still attracted to Ciara. I mean, duh, who fucking isn't, right? But he won't be ready to settle down until he looks like Kyle Cook. And Jesse thinks it would be a good idea for Ciara and West to have a boundary. Well, they have one now. And Ciara and West, like they were like flirting over a plate of microwave nachos in the kitchen when Jesse was thinking all of these things. And now they're both peeking their heads out of their respective bedroom doors, looking at each other. And I don't know, man. I don't know. West really, I crossed over from being like pissed at him. It also, like, again, I've talked about this before. It is such a parasocial feeling to be talking about these people and expressing these strong reactions I'm having to their behaviors, because I don't know any of them in real life. Obviously, none of us do. Well, maybe some of you do. I don't fucking know. So I understand that, especially at my advanced age, saying that I have these strong feelings about a complete stranger that I only watch on TV could sound completely like, tap, 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 Ramona, I think that you need to, this is not normal. This is not okay. But we're just going to suspend that for right now and go all in, okay? I'm not parasocial. I don't plan on DMing any of these people. I am just expressing my strong reactions and opinions about behaviors that I see playing out on television and in the blogs. And they've admitted to it. So like, what the fuck? The next morning, Mia and Ciara are chatting in Ciara's room. And this scene broke my heart. And I cannot imagine what it's like to have this experience that Mia outlines. And to those of you who know what it's like to have the experience that Mia had, I want to send you, like I'm holding my heart right now and sending you hugs and love and sentiments of, how do I want to say it? Like, I can't imagine what it's like to hold that pain. I can't imagine what it's like to hold that kind of grief. And you're doing a great job if that's what you're doing, working with that in your life. Really. So Mia shares that she had a terrible dream the night before. She dreamt both of her parents were alive and she was begging her mom to come visit her. And her dad in her dream was telling her it wasn't a good idea. And Mia said she was hysterically begging and crying for her mom to come stay. And she shares that she hates when she has dreams like that because when she wakes up, it feels so real, but it's not real. And Mia said in her dream, her mom told her, I can't come this weekend, Mia. And she tells Ciara she wants to see a medium. And without a beat, Ciara says, I have someone. Mia's like, of course you do. And to those who don't know or don't remember, both of Mia's parents have passed. So she's living with the grief of not having either of her parents that she was very close to. And the way she describes her mom in her confessional, it just broke my heart. She shared that her mom was fabulous and so fun and would joke with Mia like, you're so boring, Mia. And she was hilarious and the queen of unsolicited advice and opinions. And Mia shares that it's a really intense time for her right now. Scott's life is getting bigger and she really needs some guidance and someone to tell her what to do in this moment. And she looked at the sky, like asking her mom, like, fucking tell me what to do right now. I need you so badly. I will share that I have been asking some loved ones that have passed on for support right now. In fact, I think on the podcast I've shared many times about my very first therapist, Fran. She was like the ultimate mother archetype, this therapist that I had. And I started seeing her when I was 16. And I saw her until I was in my early 20s. And I reached out to her son on Facebook, I don't know, maybe sometime during COVID, just to tell him that she had been on my mind so much and that she meant so much to me. And I don't know that I would be here without her in my life. And he sent me a photo of her and I put it up in my kitchen today because I need to like look at her all the time right now and ask her for help from beyond. And last night when I was up at 3:00 in the morning crying, I was like, oh my God, Fran, just help. I just need help. I need your help. I need your help from beyond. And so I am, especially from my medicine therapists, I am often reminded by them to ask my ancestors for help, ask for the people in my life who have passed on for help from beyond. And I'm doing it. It can't hurt, right? Anyway, so that's about as close as that I can get to what Mia's going through. I send Mia love. So Jesse and West are waking up in their room, and Jesse's filling West in on Sabrina since West was in Italy during Lindsay's housewarming party the week before, where Ben brought Sabrina around for the very, very first time. And West in this episode, oh, that's what I was saying earlier, and I totally forgot to finish my sentence. This episode, he went from me being like totally like mad at him to like, I'm grossed out. I'm repelled. I'm not just like grossed out and mad and disappointed, obviously, at what he did to Ciara. I'm actively disgusted by this person. And this episode, of all the episodes we've ever seen, well, maybe just for me, And I acknowledge that I said a couple weeks ago, like, oh my God, West is growing. West is changing. Maybe he's learning. I take it all fucking back, dude. He's just really good at wearing a mask. And it's like I have this urge to call myself dumb for not seeing through him. But really, it's just that I was on his side. I was rooting for him and Ciara to have meaningful, respectful, mutual repair in their relationship, however that shook out for the both of them. And now I just want him to get the fuck away from her. He's dangerous and icky and Ew, I used the word icky like Amanda did. Ugh. He's dangerous. He's not a good guy. His mask fell, and in this scene, he was real fucked. So he's so judgy and gross when Jesse told him about how Ben wanted to stay home the night before because Sabrina was coming today. Like he had a very strong reaction to this. Like, what? Are you kidding me? Then the irrefutable irony of Jesse Solomon throwing Ben under the bus needs to be motherfucking studied, because we watched Jesse fall so deep and so fast in love with Lexi the previous summer. And yet he's throwing Ben under the bus right now for doing the same thing. He's like, I can't believe they're like fully on. And I'm like, bro, you spot it. You got it, Solomon. So Jesse tells West Ben and Sabrina were PDAing all over the party. At Lindsay's housewarming party, they were like totally in like PDA, and West, like he's aghast, like his mouth is agape. He's stunned. He's in like disgusted shock hearing that they were having PDA all over the party, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Really? Like, who cares? Just be happy for your dude. So Jesse describes Sabrina to West as kind of having hippie chill vibes, and he said she's into rock and roll. And when he said rock and roll, West said under his breath, kind of, red flag. I'm so mad. You guys, I know it's not that deep. I fucking paused the TV. I stood up. I walked in front of it. I turned around. I faced Josh and I said, excuse me? Did he just say fucking red flag because she likes rock and roll? Red flag? You guys, when I tell you I was incensed, I was incensed. What the fuck does liking rock and roll have to do with being a red flag? What? What? Are you insane? I'm in shock. What? Has anyone ever heard of liking rock and roll being a red flag? You know who's a red flag? You're a red flag for thinking it's a red flag if a woman likes rock and roll. What an idiot. I don't know, dude. I don't know if my ick for West would have been ignited by that statement alone had none of this happened with Amanda, but it did not fucking help. I will tell you that. Fuck all of the way off, Wes Wilson. Thank you. Bye. So the rest of the cast is outside, and Jesse explains that today's theme party is Las Vegas pool party. There's a very minimal setup. Thank God. There are cabanas, things to drink out of. You know, those like tacky, like long-necked, but wide-bottomed, weird, Muppety looking, cups that people walk around in Las Vegas with. It's just tacky. Usually like there's a blue frozen drink in there or something. I don't know. Personally, I've never indulged, but if you have and you enjoy it, I'm happy for you. I'm just saying that that's the kind of cup they have. There's pool floats, bottle girls are coming. There's going to be those marquee signs, sparklers. And I'm like, listen, any party with less disposable crap is A-okay with me. West, okay. Remember a few episodes back when Ciara in her confessional said, if West sits on you, he has a crush? So West is sitting on Amanda. He's sitting on Amanda outside. All right. I don't know. IDK. Kyle tells the dude to start setting up and tells the ladies to go get ready to go look like escorts for the party. Oh, God. I love this show so much, and I'm also so exhausted by Kyle Cook. I am exhausted by Kyle Cook. I'm exhausted by half of this cast at this point, and the other half invigorate me. So you know what? That's okay. That's amazing, because most of the other casts exhaust me, and I love it at the same time. I am not complaining about any of this content that I'm watching. I promise you that, okay? I swear. So Amanda goes to Bailey's room to catch up with her while she's getting ready about her hangout with Carl the night before when they were at golf. And I want to ask you guys, now I watched this episode so many times because it was thrilling and also because I was taking notes and also because I was watching because it was entertaining. And I also like to watch it again before I talk about it because I want to know what I'm talking about, Turns out watching it 4 times does not guarantee that I'm going to remember anything the way it happened. It doesn't matter. But did anyone else notice that the thermostat went from 71 to 73 over the course of that conversation? Now, we all know how the sausage is made. They could have been doing that they could have been filming that for 2 hours for all we know. Or maybe they had to do a reshoot at a different time. I don't know. But it was 71 when they first started, and at the end of the scene, it was 73. Anyway, Bailey seems excited about Carl and she's super giddy telling Amanda about how Carl spent time. He could have been golfing with her, giving her golf lessons. And she tells Amanda that she gravitates towards him unconsciously. And Amanda wants to know, do you get the fanny flutters about him? And Bailey says, yep, I sure do. And Amanda is in support of it. And in her confessional, she says that they're a good fit for each other. Bailey isn't 100% sure how Carl feels about her. And she wants to find out. And Amanda hypothesizes that maybe Carl wants to be pursued for once, and that's why his cards aren't fully on the table. I don't know. I feel like Carl's doing a pretty good job of expressing himself, but also he seems a little guarded. I can get that. I can see that. But I also don't think there's any rush. I don't know, man. I don't fucking know. All I know is that I really like Carl. That's not up for debate. Bailey wonders if both she and Carl are two wounded animals too scared to come out of their respective corners. Very fair and extremely possible, and also a very relatable and human experience to have. Amanda says, listen, he loves communication, and a little communication will go a long way with Carl. And I'm all for that if that goes down. I'd like to see it. Who knows? I don't know. Does anyone know what's happening? I guess I could look on social media and see if they're posting pictures with each other. Sabrina arrives and Ben rushes out to greet her. He asks her if she's ready to throw some punches or what. And I wonder if he's referring to Amanda. I mean, she didn't not shots fired, at the end of this episode. She's Sabrina branded shots fired. IMHO, right? So Amanda and Mia are soaking their feet in the pool. And Amanda is strategizing her plan to make amends for her egregious faux pas at Lindsay's housewarming party. She tells Mia that she wants to pull Sabrina aside as soon as she's settled in, and Mia's absolutely on board with that and thinks that she should. Ben takes her to the backyard to meet everybody, and she gets lots of naked hugs. Sabrina tells West that she has heard a lot about him, and I'm wondering if she's suspicious already. But Ciara seems really, really enthusiastic to see her. And in her confessional, Ciara says, "This is for every bitch who said, I don't make friends easily. I met Sabrina at the housewarming. She invited me for coffee. She's adorable, feels so completely opposite of me, and that's why I'm so attracted to her as a friend. She says everything she's thinking, and I say nothing I'm thinking. But I love that because I feel like I recognize at this point in my life, on my journey to less rigidity, that I can express my love vocally more. I just like her." The producer asks Ciara if she and Sabrina discussed Amanda at coffee. When they went to coffee, and Ciara reluctantly says yes. And Amanda suggests to Sabrina that they go inside to have a chat, and she starts in right away, saying that she wants to apologize for the other night at Lindsay's, and said she feels so bad for, and I quote, catching her off guard. I found this an extremely unsatisfying, odd, and mostly vague, way too vague of a way to apologize. IMHO, how I have been taught, how apologies feel authentic and complete to me is to be really specific. This is what I did. This is what I can imagine it may have felt like for you to experience me doing that. This is what I will do in the future to change that. And if there's anything else we need to discuss, obviously I would be open to that. Amanda was not specific at all, unless they cut out the specificity. But if I give the editors the benefit of the doubt, what was she apologizing for? So she said, listen, it wasn't my information to share. I'm so sorry that you feel badly. And Sabrina appreciates Amanda saying this. She thought about their interaction quite a bit. Sabrina says she wears her heart on her sleeve and always tries to uplift everyone around her. That's a lot of work. I mean, if it's authentic to you, great. But like, if that's what you like seek out to do, I don't know. I don't know. Is that weird? Is it just weird to me? Obviously, I want to like move through the world without making people feel like shit after they've interacted with me. And I guess I do uplift people. I'm all about respectful human interactions when I'm out in the public, like out and in public, like talking to people. But I don't know. Maybe it's not deep. Maybe I can just shut the fuck up. Again, I'm probably going on like 4 hours of sleep. So I might sound a little, I don't know. Maybe I'll leave it at that. Sabrina tells Amanda, I felt instantly connected to you when we met, and I thought we had a great conversation. So I was really taken off guard when you said what you said. And Sabrina says it was a bizarre interaction, but I'm not one to hold on to things, and I'd rather build new memories with you so I won't have to have that perception of you still. I kind of like, hey, let's build some new memories so I don't remember that you said to me last week that the entire house said that Ben was in love with you. It's not a bad idea, I guess. Oh my God, I've just never heard of that before. Cool. She tells Amanda, don't sweat it. And Amanda says it's been making her sick and she feels awful. And Sabrina assures her, I would know if you were not coming from a good place. And I was all, would you? Because goddamn, we thought we knew and we didn't know. So, and if, as she does say, though, if I did think that you were not coming from a good place, I would be savage. Amanda thanks her for being open, and I think Sabrina was really gracious, considering I didn't hear anything specific come out of Amanda's mouth. And I would be curious to know what Sabrina thought after watching this episode. I just was not satisfied at all. Here is what I saw. I saw someone that was not really feeling bad for hurting another person. I saw someone who was feeling bad that she was caught hurting somebody else. I saw someone who wanted the person that she had injured to be the one to make Amanda feel better. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bitch. Maybe I'm not being open-minded at all. But that was my gut wasn't that. It was actually about like, I feel terribly that I hurt this stranger's feelings. It was, oh my God, everyone's going to think I'm a dick, for being a dick to this person. That was it. It didn't seem like she really cared. She just didn't want to be seen like an asshole. I've now said that 3 or 4 times, and I think I have this idea in my head that if I keep repeating it, that it's going to make sense. Oh my God. Okay. All right. So outside, Bailey and Carl are chatting on the couch, and Bailey has a tequila soda in her hands, and Carl's asking her, what's your favorite spirit? And when he asked her that, I had an internal Al-Anon freak out, if I'm 110% honest with you guys. I was all, no, Carl, no. Why are you asking her about the cocktail? Why are you asking her about her drink? No. And it's like, I really had to have a minute with myself and be like, Ramona, he knows what he's doing and he's on his own path and it's all good. And I had to remind myself, nothing Bailey does, says, drinks, doesn't drink, in front of him, not in front of him, whatever. None of that can or will make Carl drink. Carl and Carl's higher power are in the driver's seat of his sobriety, and he's a fucking human, dude. And he's allowed to talk about his experience with alcohol and ask her questions about alcohol. I just want good things for him. I'm coming from a place of caring, and that's where my panic came from. All right. Not going to beat myself up for that. I just love this scene. Her favorite drink is a straight whiskey, and Carl is enwrapped when he hears this. He's enwrapped. And to me, this scene, it felt to me like this was kind of like verbal foreplay for the two of them. That's part of the energy that I got from this. I wish Margie was here to talk about this scene with me. I'm not going to lie to her. Maybe she and I can talk on the phone about it. Carl shares that he used to love straight whiskey because, and this was a perfect way to describe the feeling he described, it gave him, and he said, a jacket of confidence. He loved straight whiskey because it gave him a jacket of confidence. But after a certain point, after drinking too much straight whiskey, he became a flaming asshole. And we're treated to a montage of Carl's unfortunate, top 10 hits over the last 10, not 10 seasons, 8 seasons when he was drinking? He's been sober for a couple seasons now, right? 2, 3? Doesn't matter. He's come a long ass way, and I want this man to have nothing but peace and serenity. I swear. We've been toying around the idea of taking Leo to New York over spring break because he's really, really obsessed with public train systems, such as the Bay Area Rapid Transit, affectionately known as BART up here, Muni trains up here. We rode an Amtrak train from Portland to Seattle last week on spring break, and then we rode Seattle's light rail system and their monorail system when we were there. And he's been buying New York subway trains to play with on his train tracks at home. And so we're talking about taking it to New York in the summer. Ugh, the humidity. It starts in June, you guys. Ugh. But my point is that I would definitely kill two birds with one stone. If we got to go, I would take Leo on the subway to Soft Bar. Doesn't that sound like a really fun thing to do? Because he can go there. Because it's not alcoholic. So I could get a Soft Bar cap. Even with the bad typeface, I would fucking get it. And I could take Leo on a subway. I'm not saying that's not going to happen. If it does, I will record a video and post it. Okay? So he tells Bailey that every once in a while, like when he was talking with Kyle the night before at golf, Kyle was holding a glass of rosé in his hand, and Carl says I could smell it. And I was struggling to tell Kyle what I wanted to say. And I thought, if I had a bottle of rosé right now, and if I do a line of cocaine, I would then be able to tell him how I feel. And again, the first time I watched this, I stood up and I said, yes, I know what Carl is talking about. I can count on one hand the amount of times I have done, how do I say this? Amount of times I have experienced cocaine. Okay, I was well into adulthood. It's been many, many years. I wouldn't even know how to procure it. Like I don't know. But even with my count on one hand experiences with it, I totally bet you could feel like that, Carl. I totally get you could. I am obsessed with his honesty, and I am loving how he is wording these things. A jacket of confidence. A jacket of confidence. A bottle of rosé, line of Coke. I'm going to be able to tell you what I mean, Kyle. Anyway, in his confessional, Carl says, something that has gone on for me since I got sober, which is, I know what I'm feeling, but sometimes I don't have the confidence to say what I want to say because I care so much about what other people think. My behavior when I did drink and use hurt a lot of people, and I don't want to do that. I really don't want to hurt anybody, and I don't want to hurt my best friend. I want good things for this person. Bailey tells him, don't beat yourself up about not being able to fully be honest with Kyle last night. And Carl's like, it's more about like being a man. Like you should be able to talk to your friend about how you're feeling, which I understand to an extent, but I also totally validate why the conflict with Kyle is so high stakes for him. It's his best fucking friend. On the rare occasion I have had to have a high stakes conversation with a dear close friend, it causes me a lot of stress because there's lots on the line. I don't want to hurt this person. I don't want to be rejected. I don't want to be misunderstood. It's high stakes. So like, I totally get it. And after Carl shares a little bit more, we can see about how his trauma informs how he approaches the dynamic he has with Kyle. So Carl shares, listen, with friends like Kyle who have more alpha energy, I've always struggled with folks like that to communicate what I want to say. And then he shared with Bailey that Carl says his grandfather was very present in his youth, and his grandfather was very alpha beyond belief. And he said he was spanked and he was belted. And I'm assuming that Carl is saying that that's what his grandpa did to him. And I wanted to throw up. My blood ran cold. Thinking of little Carl and little children everywhere who are suffering violence at the hands of their caregivers, like that thought still triggers, it has a big trigger in me. And it's part of stuff that I'm that kind of response I'm having, I would like for it to go away. I would like, with the help of therapy and with the help of my consciousness expanding medicines together and my helpers, that is what I'm actively working on right now. Because that's the kind of thing that like you look at and you're just like, this looking at this pain's going to fucking kill me. It's going to kill me. It's going to hurt so bad. But I still have the experience of like, if I'm out in public and I hear a caregiver talk to a child in a voice, in a tone that I recognize, or a tone that sounds like it's tinged with violence, you know, like it will take me out. I will have a physiological reaction. I'm not saying that people aren't out there like not having physiological reactions. It's a very jarring thing. I'm just saying that like for me, it will take me out of the present. I will forget where I am, who I am, what I'm doing, and it will take me a lot of effort to work with that. And just hearing Carl say that, I just like, I cried. Anyway, so Carl continues that he's always lived in that kind of fear of dominating personalities like that. And in his second confessional, he says, Kyle can be intimidating to me. I've always bound down to him a little bit. I owe Kyle a lot, and there's an element of that in my brain, like, oh, you can't just rip this guy a new asshole. He saved your life. And we see a flashback to the season 5 reunion where Carl shared he went down a dark path. He scared people, and Kyle came to his house and said he loved him and he was there for him. And he continues his confessional saying Kyle is his ride or die best friend, but not telling him the truth about how he's feeling about Kyle's behavior is making things worse. And he tells Bailey that their friendship started basically anchored in partying and boozing and being silly and having fun together, but he wants it to feel mutual now. What a wonderful fucking scene. Reality TV. That's reality TV, what we just saw. So for those that still don't know, and I know that there's a handful of people out there that still think of reality TV being something, that's what it is. That's what it is. Carl Radke and Bailey having this fucking come to Jesus, learning about what informs this man's reaction to his best friend, the dynamic they share. We get a front row to this once a week, once a year. Like, what? We're so fucking lucky. We're so fucking lucky to have Bravo. So the cast starts getting ready for the party. The backyard's done being set up. There's a floating bar with bar stools. I thought it was pretty impressive, actually. I'm not going to lie. I looked up some of those. I looked up at that website, and I don't know. If they have a Memorial Day sale, I'm not going to. Our pool is much too small to have a floaty like that. It would take up the whole thing. But those, they look like robust floaties, okay? They look pretty good to me. There's a rope and stanchion set up around the outdoor furniture, the outdoor couch and chairs to make a shift VIP selection. I got to say, I'm all about this party, Jesse. I really am. I like that it looks like there's besides those obnoxious fucking Dr. Seuss looking cups, those Vegas cups, it looks like there's minimal plastic refuse that's going to be thrown away at the end of this party. Amanda claims the lighting in her room is bad, and so she's toted her makeup with her to get ready in Ciara's room with her and Mia. And I don't think it's the lighting. I think that Amanda is spinning and can't sit in the aftermath of her conversation with Sabrina. She seems to be crawling out of her skin. Am I projecting? 100%. But if I was in Vegas or at a Vegas-themed party, I'd place a whole lot of money on the bet that Amanda is there, not because the lighting's bad in her room, but because she is in a shame and self-hatred spiral, and she needs other people to make her feel better about herself in that moment. I spot it. I got it. 100% admit to that. So Mia asks her, hey, how did the conversation with Sabrina go? And Amanda says it went fine. And Ciara can also see that she's got a lot going on, and she's encouraging Amanda to kind of like shake off the fight or flight. And I love that advice. I loved it. Give that amygdala a break, girl. That's what she's trying to get her friend to do. So Amanda says she feels like everyone hates her. She was spinning. I wrote in my notes, I spotted, I got it. And which they both say, no one feels like that. No one feels that way about you. And Amanda says, yeah, but you know me. And I'm like, oh, we know you. Yeah, we know you now. We know you now. So she hates that she made someone feel badly, and it makes her feel icky about herself. And I noticed the childish language, icky. I don't think that was by mistake. If it's hysterical, it's historical. If she's going to this place where she's got the look of deer in headlights, her friend is saying, shake off your fight of the fight or flight response, which I love that they're even talking about this at all. I think that she didn't feel bad about Sabrina hurting Sabrina's feelings. I think she felt bad about the fact that people were going to hate her, you know? I don't know, man. If that's what you're going to do, I don't know what you expect. Ciara reassures Amanda, it's okay. Everyone fucks up. And the most important thing is that you apologize to Sabrina. And Amanda's like, okay, I'll be fine. I'm in my head about it. And I feel stupid. And Ciara says, we all say dumb shit, but suspects that Amanda is being beaten down into thinking her opinion or what she thinks is stupid. And Ciara tells Amanda she doesn't realize her magic. And I was like, oh, Ciara. Poor sweet Ciara. I mean, if we're honest with ourselves, we look at ourselves in the mirror. And maybe some of you, and I am jealous of you if this was you. Lindsay's been warning us about Amanda since season 1, has she not? I don't think Lindsay's ever liked Amanda, has she? But the writing's been on the wall, apparently. I just didn't see it. So Ciara tells Amanda, half the things Kyle has and half the things Kyle does is because of you. And I'm like, holy shit. You are so earnest and generous. And Amanda, I just want to know, was it worth it? Is it worth it? Is West Wilson worth it? Ew, God. And while she's telling her friend this, Ciara's on the verge of tears, and Amanda begs her not to cry because she'll cry, and Mia begs everyone not to cry, and Mia and Ciara engulf this undeserving crying white woman and tell her how special she is. And Amanda says she's grateful to have them as friends. And Mia's like, you're stuck with us. And I was like, holy shit. Is it worth it? Was it worth it? All right. Downstairs, bartenders, hired bartenders and hired bottle service servers have arrived and bringing apparatus. West opens the front door to a horde of mostly female party guests that have amassed, waiting to be let in. And then he's in the kitchen passing out espresso martinis to a small group of women he's invited, and he introduces his women to Jesse. One of the women that West is talking to and has introduced Jesse to, we learn later in the episode her name is Emmy. In his confessional, Jesse says he doesn't know what's going on anymore, and we see a flashback to the night before where West tells Jesse, the party's going to be so weird because I just invited 96 people in the last hour, and one of them, hot. And he's talking about Emmy. And Jesse's in his confessional, he's like, bro, after everything you've been through, don't you ever learn? The last couple of years have been so difficult for you. So make sure you know what you're getting into. So basically, he's saying, Wes, what the fuck are you doing inviting this hot girl Emmy to this party? And I just want to say, he knows what he's doing and he doesn't care. Now I know. I'm awake and I know now. Anyway. Then we have this small scene. This was also disgusting to me. I just like, I don't care that they were talking about Ben, who I have now decided that I don't care for. Basically, Amanda and West are talking mad shit about Ben in the kitchen next to Ben's Club Send It cutout. And I don't know why, but West he's so bothered. Let's talk about this. Why is West so bothered by Ben going 0 to 60 by Sabrina? I wonder if it's because West isn't going 0 to 60 about somebody. And maybe he's comparing himself like, oh, maybe I should be going to 0 to 60 about somebody, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to stay being a fuckboy. And I don't know what Ben's deal is. He wasn't giving fuckboy energy, but also I don't know enough about this person to say that he wasn't doing his own version of fuckboy energy. I don't know. IDK. But Wes is super agitated that Ben is all in about Sabrina. And unless editors have left out like relevant information, like I don't understand why he gives a shit. And he tells Amanda he wrote, the marquee signs that they carry, the bottle service servers like carry around the club with the sparklers. He said on the marquee sign, he wrote Ben's last ride. And I'm like, sick burn, Wes. And Amanda punches cutout Ben in the dick. That neither of them can even with Ben right now. And just because he's outwardly in love with Sabrina, and I don't get it. I don't get what the big deal is. I really don't. I don't know, man. So Wes tells Amanda, I love that you got in trouble for something. And meaning that you got in trouble for being a dick to Sabrina at Lindsay's party and saying what you said about Ben. And Amanda says, I've cried 5 times over it so far that day. And again, I posit that her tears were over her self-loathing and shame, not about how she actually made Sabrina feel. And West is like joking, like, did you really say to her? Like, yeah, Ben wanted to fucking slam me. Oh my God, dude. Ugh. Anyway, BT Dubs, Ben is dressed in Amazon's finest Hunter S. Thompson's Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas outfit. Did you guys all notice that? I don't know. It's better than some of the outfits I've seen at these parties, I guess. But you also could have easily done that at any thrift store. I'm just saying. And it would have been better. I don't know. I'm not Ben. Amanda asks Bailey if she'll talk to Carl about her feelings today or tomorrow. And she's planning on tomorrow because today she'd rather flirt and have fun. So hopefully we'll see a conversation happen between them. In her confessional, Bailey says she wants to move things on with Carl and put herself out there, but she doesn't need to dump her feelings on him when he's already going through this with Kyle. She wants Carl to have a good time. There's a lot I can say about this. Bailey, I highly doubt Carl would be bummed out by you pulling him aside to have a chat about the fact that you're into him and you want to know if he's into you, because he clearly is. Again, if I was at a Las Vegas party and if I was placing a bet, I would say that would probably help him maybe have confidence, because he'd be like, oh my God, the girl I have a crush on has a crush on me back. Yay. And then maybe that would help him like have this conversation with Kyle, you know? I don't know. I don't think that's too out of the realm of possibility. I wish I could form what I'm trying to say in a deeper way than what I just said. But I'm doing my best. I'm doing my best right now. Kyle hops on the floating bar to join KJ, West, Ben, and Jesse and says, guys, I know I've had a rough start to the summer. And KJ adds, and a rough middle, but I'm trying to have a smooth ending, and tells them he's talked to Carl and told him, I do feel bad about forgetting your brother's passing, and he suspects Carl wanted to say more to him than he did, and that he probably had an easier time telling Ben how he felt than he did to Kyle. And yeah, Kyle, he did. He did. You know why? Because you give him nothing. Because you go to his house to have a conversation, and you don't even ask him if he wants a coffee first. You're completely self-absorbed. And I really, I don't want to go hard on Kyle, but at the same time, why am I trying to protect him? He has the means and the option to get help in his interpersonal relationships. But whatever he's doing is still working for him in some way in his mind. So I don't know, dude. Via cone, you know what I'm saying? In his confessional, Jesse says, and it was a little insightful, but again, I'm also probably being generous. Do I need to be this generous with Jesse Solomon? And I'm also like, is he sounding like this because West has now dropped the bar even fucking lower, or is Jesse Solomon growing? I don't know. Both could be true. Jesse says friendships change. And Jesse hypothesizes that because Carl was subordinate to Kyle when they were working for Loverboy, that dynamic has transferred into their friendship. Kyle's the boss and Carl's beta. And I'm like, can we not with the fucking beta? Can we not? I know that alpha was a term used before the manosphere became a thing, but can we not with beta and alpha? Can we please stop? It's not that fucking simple. Jesse wasn't there on the couch to listen to what Carl shared about his upbringing and his one of his most influential caregivers and his personality, comparing that personality to Kyle's. And maybe that is why they sought each other out as friends, to work out that dynamic. As adults, we do that subconsciously, you know? Given what Jesse has shown he's capable of emotionally, it seemed like it was a little insightful to me. Again, the bar is low. The bar is subterranean. The bar is in the core. The bar is in magma, right? Magma bar. Ben and Ciara are in the backyard VIP area, and she's telling him what she appreciates about Sabrina. She says Sabrina's emotionally intelligent, she's open, and Ben says, yeah, we're very comfortable together. In the empty chair next to Ciara, West sits down, and the woman West referred to as hot, Emmy, black dress, sits on his lap. And she's mic'd, so we hear her ask West, why did you just say, oh my God, when I sat down? And Wes whispers to her, remember this for later. Remember this for the last 10 minutes. West whispers to her, I used to kind of date the girl behind you. And we see Ben looking at West with this woman in his lap sitting right next to Ciara. Like, oh my fucking God, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing, dude? And I again, I stood up for the third time this episode. This is the first time I'm watching it with my husband. And I said, kind of? You kind of used to date her? Kind of? You kind of took her to fucking Missouri to meet your family who loved her? You kind of dated her, you piece of shit? West is disgusting. Is he redeemable? Is he redeemable? What the fuck? Anyway, so Emmy asks West, should I get up? And West says, no, I'm kidding. It's absolutely allowed. And he puts his hand on her back, which is literally inches from fucking Ciara's arm. I don't know, man. Anyway, Ben says to Ciara and to himself, like, are you fucking kidding me, mate? And he just looks at Ciara like, I'm so sorry. This is so epically fucked up. Ciara looks like she wants to jump out of her skin. I recognized that look of terror, and I'm going to say it. I'm going to say trauma. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say, like, the deepest parts of her, of little Ciara, were panicked, fearful. I can't imagine the like feelings of rejection and confusion that were going on in that moment. And it's all being recorded by fucking people with cameras in front of their face. Unbelievable what we saw on this episode. So Ciara looks uncomfortable. West does too, but Ciara's discomfort is clean. It's a clean discomfort. You know, West is making this discomfort. Do you know what I'm saying? In clean discomfort, like her reaction is like he could have avoided this. She's reacting appropriately given their history. In his confessional, Ben expresses his utter disbelief that West is doing this. You try to make inroads. You talk about your regrets about your relationship with this woman, and this is not the move, having this woman sit on your lap. West then kisses the woman on the cheek, I think. Maybe it was the mouth. I don't know. And at that, Ciara gets up and says she's going to go pee and then come back, and she retreats to her room. And in her confessional, Ciara says, it's weird because on one hand, he doesn't owe me anything, but I would never do that to him. I would never sit next to him and make out with a guy, regardless of how you felt about me. The crux of all of this is to be seen. And we've heard Ciara say this for seasons now. Earlier this season, a couple of episodes ago when she's talking to Jesse, like, I want to be seen by my partner. I want to be seen by my friends. So she says that the crux of all of this is to be seen. For him to sit right next to me and make it seem like you don't see me further reiterates my point. If you can't physically see me sitting next to you, how could you ever see me in any other context? He saw her and he didn't give a shit. He saw her. We know that he saw her. We learn that he saw her. We hear him say it at the end of the episode. Anyway. We see a scene of Jesse kind of lacklusteringly chatting with three women trying to memorize their names. And in his confessional, he says, I love flirting. So if you see me and I'm not flirting, you know something's wrong. At this point, how many weeks have Maggie and I been dating? I think it's probably like 3 weeks. But I realize the right person isn't going to come into my life if I'm distracted by these other girls. And the right person isn't going to come into my life if I'm not working on myself and if I'm partying. And it's fine to be in a place where you want to go and have fun, but not if you want to be in a relationship with a great girl. So I guess that's how we're learning that he's officially dating Maggie, and they're exclusive, I guess. Dara and her bestie Carly are sitting on a lounger off the side of the pool, and they're observing the party is mostly all women. Yeah, because West invited 96 of them the night before. And Carly says, oh my God, Dara, you have someone. And we see a shot of KJ and Bailey off on another lounger chatting. And Dara says, it's weird. It's weird. I have someone. And so on Bailey and KJ's lounger, they're talking. And Bailey wants to know, when are you and Dara going to make things official? And he says he's not in a rush to do that. And it makes him feel like he has an added pressure, like at the thought of making it official, which struck me as odd. And maybe it shouldn't. A couple of things came up. I remember therapists over the years, especially when I would talk to them about my insecurities around dating and my needs for reassurance. They would be like, what are the actions saying to you? Maybe the words aren't there, but what are the actions saying? And so I know that like the actions that we're seeing between Dara and KJ are definitely giving we're official. He's singing her name from the top of a mountain. She's doing the same. They're not acting coy when they're talking about each other with their friends, et cetera, et cetera. We see what's happening. but maybe they don't have the label of boyfriend and girlfriend yet. And I don't know what the added pressure means either. I think I always felt safer when I had that moniker. And after I was in SLA for a while, I learned how to like build what made me comfortable and feel assured in a relationship into my bottom line. So when Josh and I started dating, I was able to tell him right away, these are my parameters. This is what I want. And if that works for you, great. If not, great. We know. Turns out it worked out. Anyway, so we cut to, at this time, Carly telling Dara, I think the official talk is going to happen pretty soon. And in his confessional, KJ says, even though things are going great with Dara, I don't want to put a title on it. I always put my heart on the line, and that leaves room for hurt. My relationship last year moved way too quick, and I got burnt. I just want to do things differently this time to protect myself, and I think that's healthy. It seems like KJ and Dara are doing what they both need to do and what they feel safe doing. And it seems like they also don't have any issues at all talking to each other about what they need. And I really enjoy watching their relationship play out on our televisions. And it seems like things are still going really well for them. And I'm happy for the both of these people that I don't know. I'm very happy for these two strangers. So West is now in a lounger with the woman, Emmy, that he invited. And Ben and Sabrina are watching them from a lounger about 10 feet away. And Sabrina mentions to Ben about Emmy, God, she's throwing herself at him. Ben's like, she knows what she's doing. Emmy knows what she's doing to West. And West notices them watching. And Ben notices West notice them watching. He tells Sabrina to relax, which is fucking disgusting. Don't tell women to fucking relax. If you're a man, I would say don't tell women to relax, period, no matter who you are. It's rude. It's misogynistic. It's unnecessary. There's a kinder, more deliberate, concise, accurate way. There's another way to say what you want to say, but relax is so condescending. Don't do that. Don't do that to me, please. Ben is like, dude, you're throwing eye daggers at that girl. You need to relax. And Sabrina's concerned that Ciara can see them because she and Kyle are standing about 10 feet away from West and Emmy as well. And Ciara looks very sad and very traumatized on her face. We've seen Ciara look one way when she's disappointed. Seeing it happen right in front of her, there's like a little bit of that like dissociation kind of like fight or flight going on. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't even want to say I'm being dramatic. When I say the word trauma, when this comes up, it's like, it's that fight or flight, ultimate rejection. And it's like, yes, it is coming from a former romantic partner that you still have unrequited feelings for, but it's like, it touches on all of those deep pains that come from our young parts. You know what I'm saying? I wish I had more sleep when I could talk more eloquently about this, but I have the faith that you understand what I mean. So that's the expression I see on Ciara's face. I really hope that a producer wasn't sadistic enough to ask Ciara and Kyle to have this conversation so close to West and Emmy, because if they did that, that's really disgusting. And honestly, it's like I don't want to throw the whole lot of like reality TV producers under the bus. I know they're trying to make good TV, and Lord knows they've done it this season, but I also don't want Ciara Miller to be collateral damage for a great show. It's not worth it to me. It's not worth it to me at all. I had to ask Mia who this girl is that West is about to fuck on the lounger, and she takes it upon herself to walk up to them. She's wearing her bathing suit and some man's camo Crocs. I don't know. Who else is going to wear camo Crocs in that house other than West or, I don't know, maybe KJ. I think they're probably fucking West shoes, right? So she kind of like toddles over and she approaches West and Emmy's lounger. She's like, what you doing? In this baby voice, and squishes in next to West. And she says, can I come in for a cuddle? So obviously when we're watching this scene, in light of the news that's happened in the last 3 weeks, we're all asking ourselves, was she acting on behalf of Ciara when she went over to this lounger, or is she jealous herself and wanting to come over? And her being married to Kyle is such a way to protect herself. It's like this shield and this shroud of safety, because no one would or did until, like, you know, again, the talk started coming out in February, for sure the beginning of March. And we were all like, no, come on, she wouldn't. But she did. She is. And so why wouldn't she be over there trying to, like, calm her own jealousy over West, looking like he's about to fuck this woman on this lounger? Amanda snarkily asks, "Oh, am I crashing your party?" And meanwhile, while she has sat herself next to West, his arm instinctively goes around her and he's rubbing her bare shoulder in between stroking and lightly grabbing her hair. A married woman's bare shoulder and taking a hefty handful of Amanda's long hair in his meaty hands. I talked to Josh about this and I was like, would you ever? And he would never touch my friend's hair or shoulder in that way. Ever. Like he recoiled at the idea of that. Thank God. Yeah, it was weird. And I didn't take the note earlier of when West had his hands all over Bailey's hair earlier in that scene where she was in their room with both him and Jesse and she had a ponytail and West was standing behind her and he was like manhandling her ponytail and she's like, don't not do that. Keep doing that. But like he had his hands in a lot of women's tresses in a very intimate way throughout this entire episode. I encourage you to go back and watch the last 10 minutes of this scene and you will see his hands in Sabrina's hair. I'll talk about that in a minute. Amanda's hair, this Emmy girl's hair. I don't know who else's hair he had his fucking hands in that we didn't see. So Emmy tells Amanda, oh, no, you're not interrupting anything. Wes and I were just discussing what our plans are for later. And Amanda puts on another affectation. She takes off the baby voice and puts on this fake Valley Girl voice. And she goes, well, my husband is playing at Common Ground. He's DJ Kyle Cook, best DJ in the Hamptons if you want to come. And after that whole performance, Emmy just says, oh, I think we're just going to go to Surf Lodge. I think we're just going to go to Surf Lodge. Oh, my God. So meanwhile, KJ starts kicking people out. The party's over. Amanda tells Wes and Emmy, I have to go, but watch my butt when I walk away. And I'm like, again, boundaries. No boundaries at all. None. It happened right in front of us, you guys. It happened right in fucking front of us. Okay? It happened right in front of us. So Amanda heads back to Ben and Sabrina and says, I just crashed a party. And Sabrina takes this as her chance to tag herself in and heads to Wes and Emmy's lounge. And at first I was like, why are you going to insert yourself into this? You just met this person at the beginning of this party when you got here. But then I thought, wait a minute. No, she fucking loves Ciara. She loves Ciara. And she's heard about West and Ciara's relationship history and she's pissed and she doesn't know what the fuck is going on. And she's going to go find out. Messy? Yeah. Perfect for reality television? Yes. Utterly uncomfortable to watch? 100%. Can I wait to see next week's? No, I can't. She saunters over while twirling her phone and just goes, I just want to get to know you guys more, and sits down again as if on autopilot. West's arm and hand immediately goes for her hair. He puts his hand on her back and says, come on, baby, to her. And she tells West, I think Ben had stuff to talk to you about. Was all shots motherfucking fired. So she's basically telling West, like, it's now your turn to get the fuck up and go talk to Ben. So West asks, does he need me? And Sabrina's all, yeah. So West says, okay, I'll go talk to Ben, but can you take care of Emmy for me while I'm gone? And Sabrina turns around and says to Ben, okay, Wes is going to come talk to you. And Ben is so confused, like as he has been the entire season that we've seen him. And Amanda tells Ben, like, man, Sabrina, she is such a girl's girl. It's incredible. Is it, Mandy? Is it incredible? Is watching her be a girl's girl, is it incredible to you? Guess what? It's not fucking hard. It's not hard, dude. You blew it, Amanda. You blew it. Was it worth it? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? Camo Crocs. All right. So Sabrina asks Emmy, hey, do you want to go get some water with me? And Emmy's face is just like not stoked. And West is so confused and says, wait, what the fuck is going on? So we see guests start to leave, including Emmy. And KJ says, Dara, let's go upstairs. And she says, okay, in this cute voice. I just love him. I love them together. I think they're so adorable. I also think he was a little bit faded by this point. And they go upstairs to like go take a rest in his bed. And he calls her the little spoon. And I thought it was adorable. So we don't see West talk to Ben at all. Instead, he heads to the VIP couch and just immediately lies down to go to sleep. And Mia and Ciara and Amanda are on the patio looking at Wes sleeping. And Mia says, he's so disrespectful. And here's the problem. Because you're so nice to him and you're trying, like actually trying, now he's back on my list. If you fuck with my friends, that's where I draw the line. That's what Mia says to Ciara right there. And Ciara's expression, man. The only word I can think of is fucking forlorn, dude. I felt heartbroken for her. Carl and Bailey are on the other couch next to West, and he mentions to Bailey, like, the rule is if you fall asleep with your shoes on, you get drawn on the face. So Amanda finds a pen and decides to do the honors, and she writes dick on West's forehead in a black Sharpie. And this has clearly happened to West before because almost instinctively, he just immediately licks his fingers and tries to wipe the ink off, but he just smears the dick instead. So we cut to the kitchen, and Sabrina and Ben are hugging and kissing next to the sink. And Ben says, it's been a crazy couple of weeks, a huge transition for me, a perfect storm. I don't know, you guys. I don't care for Ben. I don't like him. I don't trust him. I don't expect people to be perfect, but I don't like him. And then he proved my point immediately because Sabrina laughs, but I don't think she's like laughing in a way like laughing at him. I think it's more of like a comforting laugh, like, oh, I know it's been a crazy couple of weeks. Tell me more, It doesn't seem like she was putting him down kind of a laugh. And I don't know how to explain it, but he's immediately defensive and says, why are you laughing at me? This is me trying to open up. And it's like, why do men rule the fucking world, you guys? Why do men rule the world? They act like motherfucking... Kyle Cook acts like a snowflake. West acts like a snowflake. Ben, oh my fucking God, he is so emotional. He is so emotional, yet women don't get to have new positions in power. Make it make sense. She's like, listen, dude, I'm curious. I don't know the male perspective. I want to know what strife were you holding on to in regards to before you asked me to come to Lindsay's party and then come here with me. And he says, listen, it was so good in the beginning and maybe it got too real and too fast for me. And I just didn't know how to handle it. And I wouldn't know a good thing if it fucking slapped me in the face. I don't know. I'm not great with words. No, you're not. Maybe take some time to get great with words. And you don't even need to like do a lot with that other than just kind of like try to figure out how you tick, why you tick the way you tick. You did it. You did it at the beginning of the season when you were like, this is where I grew up. This is how I grew up in this religious upbringing where we didn't talk about sex. Like, go figure that out a little bit more. You know what I mean? Because right now, yeah, he just does seem angry. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know why I gave this man more benefits of the doubt as I did throughout this season. And I just felt myself like try to beat myself up about it. It's not that deep. I'm watching a person that I see on my TV once a week. I don't know him, but like I can let myself off the hook for having another opinion about him. Or maybe I shouldn't let myself off the hook, dude. I don't fucking know. She reassures him that he is great with words. And I commend her support, encouragement, and affirmation behavior. But I think she can do better. We'll see. I'm not that attached to either one of these people. She seems like she's going to be absolutely fine regardless of whether or not Ben is her partner or not. And then he totally grossed me out and like solidified that I don't care for Ben. He apologizes to her that it took him a few extra minutes to get there. And it just was really giving Mr. Big, but in real life. Well, real life by ways of Summer House. I'm not into it. Back on the patio, drunk Wes says, can I keep it $100? If I didn't invite anyone, today wouldn't have existed. And they all sarcastically thank him. Amanda says, oh, even that girl you were making out with all night? And kind of death stares him. She says to him, dude, you got too comfortable. You're on probation still. And in his confessional, West really just showed us his whole ass. What do they say? He showed his ass. I don't know. I'm looking over at someone as if there's another person in this booth with me that's going to like tell me, like, yes, Ramona, that's exactly what they say. There's no one in here but me. Oh, God bless. I'm so tired. So in his confessional, Wes says, I've been trying so hard to do nothing wrong for 2 years. I don't know if I'm nitpicking by saying I've been trying to just do nothing wrong. So like, is he actually trying to practice authentic, genuine repair with Ciara? Or is he just trying to like get away with not doing things that he can be called out for? Those are two very different things. And what they are based in motivation. One is like, I'm going to not do something
so I won't get in trouble. The other is I'm not going to do this because I really care about her and I want to repair our friendship and she means a lot to me and I want to treat her with the respect that she deserves. Two different things. I don't know if he means what I want him to mean. So Wes says, I've been trying so hard to do nothing wrong for 2 years, but she's been fucking cuddling Jesse in front of my face for the last 2 years, like under covers. I think we can chalk this one up to like a drunk fuck up. Like, oops. The fact that we haven't had one conversation, like one-on-one all summer, I don't know anything about what she's thinking or feeling at all. Ciara could literally be dating someone for all I know. But I feel like I just cheated on my fucking wife. And I'm like, oh my fucking God, dude, that's called your fucking conscience. You don't give a shit. You don't care. You don't care. It's your conscience, dude. It's your conscience. You have some. Or maybe he's just doing what Amanda did earlier with Sabrina. Like he doesn't want people to think he's a dick. Maybe it's not his conscience. Maybe he just feels like he's been caught. Like Amanda thought she was caught. So he tells the group, listen, to a fault, I've tried to protect whatever the fuck me and Ciara's relationship is, which I don't even know what it is. And I want to say to you, West, I'll tell you what it is. What you are doing is the white fuckboy bare minimum. That's what you're doing. He's so gnarly, dude. So Amanda yells, you and Ciara have been making progress. So why at this small, intimate party? I wouldn't say small or intimate, but maybe smaller than their Renaissance Fair party or in their old people party. I don't know. But why do you decide to have this woman sitting on your lap the whole time making out with her while you're sitting next to Ciara and then sitting on the lounger? Like, what the fuck, dude? And I wanted to say, Amanda, are you asking for your friend legitimately or are you asking for yourself? And now we don't know. Now the trust is gone, you know? So Jesse asks West, can you at least see where Amanda is coming from? And again, I don't want to give Jesse credit, but also I want to give Jesse credit for saying that. Like cautious credit. I want to give him some cautious credit. Cautious credit. Trademark it. Trademark it like a high body count hair. Cautious credit. I can't be the first person to say cautious credit, right? Right? Can I? So Kyle, of all people, jumps to West's defense. That's not fair, he slurs. Amanda points at Kyle and says, Kyle, as if she's like counting like to number one, like he's a toddler. You want to fight with me right now? I'll fucking fight with you. And Carl in his shades, arms crossed, just quietly requests, please, let's not. And Amanda continues, out of all the battles, this is the one you want to choose, to which Kyle replies with my favorite of all possible man replies, relax. He says relax. This is the second relax of the fucking episode. In the last 5 minutes. Kyle is such a... I don't need to say what I've already said. You know what I'm saying. But Amanda makes an excellent point, which is unfortunate considering, because she says her point is that there is a level of respect that has to happen because they all live together in a share house. And it's true. It's true. And Kyle insists, you're being unreasonable, Amanda. And she goes inside. And the irony of her wearing a Boys Lie hoodie. God. So she goes inside and slams the door, and Kyle wants to start shit with her, but Carl says, bro, just let it fucking go. In her confessional, Amanda says Kyle has been Ciara's biggest advocate. He has cried for Ciara. And we see the flashback to the season 8 reunion where Ciara is talking about why it hurt so bad, the way that West was talking about her in the press about their relationship ending. And she said, on the reunion stage, I'm not out here sleeping with whoever. I'm not out here sleeping with whoever. I don't want to give myself to everyone. You know, like meaning that she was intentional by taking her relationship to that physical of a level with West. It was intentional for her. It meant she cared about him a lot. She probably loved him. And we see Kyle like wiping away his tears. Amanda continues that she doesn't understand now that I'm attacking West. You're going to take his side. He has dick on his face right now. That's the hill you're going to die on. That's the battle you're going to fight. So Amanda heads upstairs and gets Mia and Ciara to sneak on the upstairs patio to eavesdrop on the cast outside talking to West. And West tells everyone that he's like, I've been avoiding upsetting her for 18 months. Again, avoiding upsetting someone and genuinely wanting to repair a relationship that you care and respect about are two very different things, West. And if all you've been doing is trying to avoid upsetting her, you're disgusting and you don't deserve her friendship. And now you don't get it anyway, so it doesn't really fucking matter, right? And Kyle pipes in and he's like, how long can you go? How long can you go on like living like this, like trying to like appease her? And it's so gross, dude. Shut up, Kyle. But he does ask, like, wait, before I go full on in your corner, West, how close was Ciara to you when you were sitting there and making out with Emmy? And West lies and says, I don't know. I didn't see. And Kyle matters, well, it is fucked up if you were on the same chair. And they were next to each other. They were next to each other, dude. So Wes says it would be one thing if Ciara was regularly flirting with me, but she flirts with me like once every 48 hours. Jesse's all, bro, knock, 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 BT dubs. That is a solid ratio. If she's flirting with you once every 48 hours, like, that's not bad, dude. And Kyle's like, yeah, that's pretty good. So now I see what the problem is. And we've seen them in the kitchen. We've seen them coming home. We've seen them like be flirty in Club Send It. We've seen them make peekaboo eyes at each other out their bedroom doors after a late night. Like, we've seen it. We've seen it. Don't gaslight me, West. Anyway, Jesse can see that the women are on the upstairs patio, and he makes this creepy zipped mouth motion and like swipes on his eye. Like, I see you guys, but I'm not going to say anything. The ladies go back inside and they're back on Ciara's bed. And Mia suggests that Ciara, and Amanda all take a deep breath because none of them are breathing. And Ciara looks, again, traumatized. Her inner child is just like in the driver's seat. And I feel so badly for her. She looks so shaken up internally. And this is core stuff. It's hitting her most vulnerable parts. And Mia supports Ciara, who has started crying, telling her this is not easy to be in a share house with someone you've dated. You're handling it so well. And Ciara says there's a reason why he was living on probation for this long. And now he's back in jail. It is what it is. Honestly, I know I had this gut feeling why I didn't want to be friends with him. I can't trust him. How can I be friends with him? He can't see me. How can you be friends with someone you don't see? Like, I'm not going to call out for you to notice me. I'm not going to shout from the rooftops for you to notice me. And that's where the episode ends. And we see from the scenes from next week that they end up having a conversation and she's crying and he just looks unhappy to be there. So we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out, you guys. Anyway, what else did I watch? I watched last week's episode of Beverly Hills. We were all in a hotel room together. It was amazing. Honestly, like one of my fondest, maybe not best, but like one of my fondest memories of the time the three of us shared in the hotel room is we watched Beverly Hills together. Like, Josh had his laptop on his lap. I had my laptop on my lap. We had our respective, listening devices so Leo wouldn't hear us. And we were like 1, 2, 3, and we hit play. So we were like, like 2 seconds, like from being completely in sync, but like watching it together. That was really fun and sweet. And so I could nudge Josh when something gnarly was happening on Beverly Hills. And anyway, I don't know. It was cute. I love my husband. I love him. So I watched Beverly Hills thanks to my hairdresser and my friend Eileen. I watched this show on HBO called Neighbors. Oh my God. It was so creepy. Needed a Silkwood shower after I watched that. It was really, if you haven't seen Neighbors and you have HBO Max, you should definitely give it a watch if you need something to watch. You will feel very, very good about your choices in life and know that you're as bad as you think you might be doing one day, you're not doing as bad as you could be doing. I'm just saying. That show was, holy crap. I'm in a bubble of a bubble. That's all I'm going to say. We watched some more season 5 of Summer House, the COVID season. And then this is where I'm at, you guys. This is where I'm at. I have been watching old episodes of Sex and the City, which is my comfort show that I watch when I'm having a really hard time. Probably because I know every single episode by heart. I know what's going to happen. I'm so ashamed to even share that. You're only as sick as your secrets, right? But like after the way And Just Like That shot the middle finger of all middle fingers at all of the fucking fans, I don't know. But that's how bad it is that I needed some Sex and the City reruns. Like I've watched every episode about 1 million times, but like I had that going on. And my antidepressant this week, ketamine, for sure. I did some work with ketamine the other night, and it helped tremendously. I felt restored to sanity as soon as it kicked in. And it was a very different trip for me. I don't know why. Don't care. I love the mystery of these medicines, these consciousness expanding medicines. It helped get me out of shame and anchor me back into like my real feelings, which is grief and sadness and that whole spectrum in between. And the helpers, I've been reaching out, which is not my therapist the other morning instructed me to do, Ramona, whatever you want to do, I want you to do the opposite. Like, you don't want to take a shower, take a shower. You don't want to drink a glass of water, drink a glass of water. You don't want to reach out for help, reach out for help. So I've been texting my helpers and they have shown up for me with so much love and support and encouragement and continued invitations to continue reaching out, which is great. Let's see. My trip to Seattle with my family was wonderful. It was so wonderful. We also had some time in Portland. It was amazing to see my family there. The weather was great. We went to the Space Needle in Seattle. We stayed like right in Pike's Place Market, honestly, and it was just fantastic weather. And it was really a trip to be there. I haven't been to Seattle in almost 20 years. And like my muscle memory, like my body knew where the fuck to go. It just knew where to go because I had walked those streets so many times. When we were taking an Uber back to our hotel one day, we drove by completely on accident. I was not expecting this at all. One of my apartments that I used to live at with one of my besties. Hi, Jill, if you're listening. And that was a trip to drive by that old apartment. Oh, you know that feeling when you drive by a place you used to live and you had some pretty like impactful times there? My whole entire time in Seattle it had a huge imprint on me. I took Leo and Josh to UW and we walked around my old campus and I walked by my old dorm. Damn, dude. It was so rad. So lots of good amidst the emotional turmoil that I don't want to say I'm happy to go through it, but I'm willing to. I'm more than willing to. I know that that's the answer. I know it's the answer. The only way out is through. So that's it, you guys. Thank you for the grace of me not fulfilling what I said I was going to do by recording last week. It was not going to be possible without me not getting sleep. And I can't do that to myself. I can't wait to come back and talk next week. I really can't. This is good. This is a fucking great franchise, is it not? I'm going to extend the same invitation to you that I've been invited to do, which is keep things really simple this week. If you're inclined to do the opposite of what you want to do, if you're inclined to doom scroll and instead you put down your phone and get the book out that you want to read instead, I invite that. Right now, I am just trying to do really basic things, feed myself, hydrate myself, and get sleep. And just try to be really conscious about the way I talk to myself. It's all we can do. All right. I love you guys. I hope you're having a good week and staying on your own side. I'm on your side. If you need someone to be on your side, I'll be on your side. Okay. All right. And Margie, if you listen to this, I love you and I miss you. And I'm glad you were born. All right. Bye, everybody.
Ramona and Margie are, obviously, not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom isn't a doctor.